Moo and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pinktron. I am Brent Robinson. I'm joined today by Steph Chen. Steph, what are you drinking?
Mixing it up, I'm having a dragon lemonade kombucha this time. Trying something new. And I also have some, if to drink some Arizona cowboy cocktail fruit punch, fruit juice cocktail. Uh, some interesting things. Trying some new things out besides my regular Fanta lemon.
New is good. New is good. All right. We also have John Keenan. John, what are you drinking?
I'm returning to the core. I found a can of Hio, which I think was the first drink I ever had on the Pinktron. It started off the whole mushroom kick. It's one of these full of mushroom drinks. Um, this one's a watermelon one. Mostly tastes lime. And someone got me a mushroom cookie for my dessert for today. So
A
that's
mushroom
nice. Well,
cookie?
a mushroom shaped. It's not, it has no mushroom, no mushrooms were harmed in the making of this cookie. It is
Oh, that was
only
gonna be my next
a
question.
shortbread cookie in the shape of a mushroom. Makes for great podcast.
It does. It does. It looks just like a Super Mario mushroom. That's what I think. I think if you eat
That's
that,
it is
you're
a
like
Super Mario.
you're gonna
Yeah.
grow like
It's
6 inches.
bounce up and hit something above you. Yeah.
All right. We also have Sean Fogelberg. Sean, what are you drinking?
I've got a lime and ginger sparkling water. I got a race later today, so
Good, good. So one of the reasons I've missed the last couple weeks, one of the reasons is I'm moving houses, which is good, but it means that like I have all kinds of random nonsense happening in my house, including we're trying to clear out like the liquor cabinet. So today's drink is Coke and Fireball.
oh no.
Oh, oh, I hope you're not racing later tonight.
I'm not supposed to race. I don't think I got to do some other things. I might get in a big spin, but yeah. So
So
that's what
when
I've got
when
going on.
you hear Brent gag
Yeah.
mid-episode,
It's not
So
bad.
my
It's actually
no, I actually don't hate Fireball, but it is with Coke. That's an odd flavor combo.
Yeah, we've had it with like some ginger ale is a little better, but
Yeah,
it's not bad. It's kind of I feel like this could be like a Coke flavor. Like get rid of like the thing. It has like just like cinnamon hearts, but sweeter than when you just drink the Fireball. So it is like even more like the candy,
yeah.
honestly. And
I
speaking
might
of
be
things that are heating up this week, oh sorry, Steph, I stepped on you.
was about to say I might be out of the loop because I don't know what Dragon Ball is, but
Fireball whiskey is like a cinnamon
Fireball.
flavored schnapps type of thing.
Okay.
I was hearing Buzzball. I just saw those in the grocery store the other day. They're like spherical drink mixed drinks. They look horrible. That's not them.
Speaking of things that are potentially also horrible and heating up, we have Herd Winter Racing on Turf and Surf this week. It is in Urakazi. This
Every,
is one that
every,
ends up the.
everybody, yep, everybody's favorite wind cavern climb, so the pain cave climb.
Yeah, I've raced on Turf and Surf several times, and it always is yes. The end of the race is up the climb. So yeah, you start in Neokio, you go down the slot caverns through Mech Isle, but not of the Mech Isle climb, around the other side, over to the Shisa climb, do the Shisa climb, do the Shisa sprint, up I don't know, I'm gonna call it the east side of Shisa, the right hand side.
Yeah.
Back through the mangrove swamps and into the wind caverns, up into Makuri, and the finish is, I think it's at those banners, like kind of the fake banner in the harbor, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's basically right by the pens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the route. Basically, kind of yeah, two climbs, right? The Shisa climb and that cavern climb in the last. I want to say it starts about 3.8 kilometers from the end.
Yeah, both around 4 to 5 minute climbs, somewhere in
Yeah,
that range.
and definitely these are two climbs that I've noticed they're much the having the gradient display come on for these is really, really helpful seeing about where it's actually going to be steep or not. Because it used to feel like you had to kind of race all of them, and now you can be much more tactical about where you're gonna have to lay on the power to stay in the group or try and drop the group or whatever.
Yeah, definitely on that the cave climb. There definitely some steeper sections in it. So
Yeah. Even Shisa, like there's a big difference
yeah,
from like where you're in the climb to when it's like kind of the climb, but it's like 1-2%. And then there is like some 4-5% bits. So you when you know you're in those bits versus the 1-2s, it is you can just the speed is different, the ability to hang on in the draft or not hang on the draft is different. Do we have race one results up yet? We're recording
Yeah.
uh,
normal time for us in North America, but an hour early for the Europeans.
Shockingly, scorekeeper did not win, just a second place. Uh,
Ooh, John
but
Power.
yeah, 6 second gap to the lead, a group of four, another, and then like basically coming in singles for um, basically the rest of the the rest of the race. No one came in a group.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of probably got broken up in that last climb, right? And we're kind of all separated by 3-4 seconds as you go down.
yeah, because I climb when you exit the basically the cave. It's about less than a kilometer. So yeah, it makes sense that it's so broken up.
Once again, only 24 um, participants this week
Yeah,
On Swift Power, yeah.
on Swift
that's with
Power. But yeah, there's good reason for that.
Swift
Lots of
games, and my
other.
big fan is skull is
Well, yeah, that's one reason. I think increasingly like Zwift Power, like the newer people on Zwift aren't even using it. Like I just think that's way more a thing now.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That happened for me in the last No Spring Chickens race. The guy I was racing, or I thought I was racing, wasn't on Zwift Power. So didn't matter that he beat me at the end. It is odd, only one herd tagged member in that um, HSRL race.
Yeah.
Catherine D.
Yeah, she's been a staple in that slot for race one. I know.
Yeah.
Certainly. So, oh yeah, so times are around 35 minutes at the fast end and down to 45 minutes at the slowest end, basically. Um, I
I
think
was about to
most
say
most people will be in
that
the 40-ish minute range.
yeah, I was about to say that's fast, but yeah, it's the top guy, so shouldn't be that surprised anymore.
Yeah.
200 meters of elevation. Still got to be a aero bike for all the flat.
I could see like Pinarello with 62s or Tron because there's the two break points in the race will be those like everything else in between will be pretty chill, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Although again, depends on where you are relative to everybody else. I think that there are a lot of us that may not even be able to hang on the flat. So depends on how fast the group is going. All of that.
it's true. That's true. Taking a full arrow just to stay in the flats till you got to the first climb would not be the worst plan. That is not bad. Could be there. Definitely not worth any bike swap. So no matter what you do, don't do a bike swap.
No,
Well, again, if you're a minute in front of somebody else, maybe you take the leisure of doing a bike swap then.
Yeah, that's true. If you're
I
really gung
mean,
ho for one,
yeah,
take a second, take a break. It's all good. Still 6 more times to go this weekend. I think anything else we want to say about herd winter racing this week? We're getting into the point where if you're like missed races, we're going to kind of the makeup races here. If you've been doing every one, so this is race
what's
8
the
out of 10.
8 out of 10, and we're taking the best 8.
Yep.
Okay.
So basically everything will be bonus points if you've done 8 after this. All right. Herd beginner racing this week is on RGV. 25 kilometers. It's pretty flat. Takes for the D's, I want to say 34 minutes. Close.
Are the
Probably a
DZs
little longer than that.
A little longer
doing
than
the
that.
full course? Sometimes they make it a little shorter, but
Nate said it's just all one for
it's
all
all
the
one.
this one. Yeah.
Okay.
Just checking because
Yeah,
I don't know if he changed anything, but or maybe it's just a copy paste and text because his test says that upper band is to 475, and I thought it was 425, 425. So don't know.
425 on the companion app. Yep. And they
Okay,
all say
so it's just so it's just probably some old bandwidths on his post on the Facebook group. Then
yeah,
some
yeah.
yeah
And it is
some
one lap for everybody, yeah.
take your fastest or aero bike, whatever you got. If you're a beginner, looking at those canyon air roads, nuke proof titanium. No, that's all right. Your nuclear
Uranium,
uranium.
nuclear.
Yeah, yeah.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that. What that might be changing soon. Um, yeah.
No spring chickens.
No spring chickens this week is Watopia's waistband.
Yeah, I had to look that
So
one up. I remember writing that, but
it's
that's
basically desert to ocean tunnels around the volcano,
yeah,
back through downtown
back
and finish
downtown.
at the
yeah,
desert
it's basically
van.
an outer loop of of
Not a,
of of, of the top part, basically.
Like
yeah,
some sort of waistband.
yeah,
Yeah,
not a lot of breakpoints, just coming out of
mm,
tunnels and saddle springs.
It's pretty flat. We
yeah,
had
yeah.
Yeah,
we had Caspats last week, which had TKOM, so this week it's a flatter one.
yeah.
Um, which in terms of the age group thing, I mean, if you can hang on to well, listen, it is not inherently true that the people who are younger than you are faster, but if you can hold on to the faster people, regardless of what group they're in, that is definitely the technique here. Just hold on as long as you can.
Yeah.
I did know spring chickens last weekend. It was good.
Yeah,
I
better.
enjoyed my race
And
last
I
week.
think that's another reason that the
Yep.
numbers in HWR have been lower is we've been getting good uh, attendance in No Spring Chickens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got to delete the league and reset it because of that. Yeah, sorry about the problems with the league this week. I don't know what was going on with that, but we'll try and get that sorted for this week. Um, but yeah, it was a good race. I had two really fast guys that I've raced lots before in my age group, and they they so there was one guy in the all ages or the under 40s. He went off the front right off the start. Nobody ever caught him, I don't think. He was way out in front.
Wow.
And then the rest of there was pretty a pretty crisp start and had narrowed it down to really only like some 40-year-olds and one 50-year-old and maybe one 60-year-old in a group of about 12 or 13 till we got to the aqueduct. And then two guys went off the front of the aqueduct and the rest of us kind of grouped back up. And then I got dropped by the group in the on the climb and the TKOM, but the other guys, some of them dragged those other two guys back in on the TKOM and made up the kind of 6-7 seconds and caught them. I
Wow.
think one of them beat the both of them, and the other two then came in behind them. So it was good. It was a good race.
Yeah, we had a good mixed group. In my race, the guy who was pushing the front was the 70 plus. He was the ACAT guy. I think he was just big watts, and he just kept pushing the front. And it was a group of what, 6 of us. And then we got to the petite KOM, and I think that's where like people just passed him up. I think it was just the lighter folks were prevailing. Yeah, and then chased down the backside again, I was thinking I was racing one of the other guys in my category, and he went long. He went like a K out from the end and just pushed it and pushed it and pushed it, and I couldn't hold on to him. And he beat me by a good 4 or 5, maybe more seconds. But then he wasn't on Swift Power, so it didn't really count. So don't know what I was worried about. It was a lot of
It's
fun.
been, I think it's been a good series. I'm glad we got it all together and got it on because I think people have kind of liked it. Just a different
Yeah,
way to mix up stuff, I think.
yeah, for sure,
So,
for sure.
and then I think the only other herd racing thing that's going on is the Herd Stampede ITT Challenge continues. The course is Outer Scotland, and it's looking like you can be in the like 17-minute to just over 20-minute range. So it's almost like the 20-minute FTP test, pretty close.
Mm.
You can get on that course, and it's not flat, but there's no real hills, so it is a good one to kind of get your, I don't know, like do a steady effort on, right? With a little bit
Mm-hmm.
of variation, at least for interest, as opposed to just being on Tempest or something.
Or the grade.
Or the grade, yeah. Well, that is variation a different way.
Yeah.
I think that is all the week in herd racing. Missing anything else? We'll go on
Yeah.
to news, which is going to be that there was a news article out today on Zwift Insider about changes to the performance of frames and wheels. Sean, you want to work through that?
Yeah, so it looks like they mentioned Eric on Swift Insider mentioned back in October or so, October or November, that they had gone to the wind tunnel. That's the specialized wind tunnel to do some testing of frames and wheel sets, several of which were frames and wheel sets from the game. And they went with a team from Zwift to get some testing. And it looks like at some point, probably the next time we get an update, that there are going to be changes uh, to the probably mostly the aerodynamics, but also potentially weight for different frames and wheels. They were able to get a first stab at some of the Zwift Insider um, testing that they do. So rather than make them wait until all of the changes came through, apparently they sent Eric a pre-release build so that he could get some testing done um, on the different frames and the different wheels. But I think so there are changes across various things. The big things, apparently the Tarmac SL7 is now going to be a much faster climber. And the uranium nuclear is no longer going to be one of the 4 fastest aeroframes. Um, on the wheel side, uh, the big loser is going to be the DT Swiss 62s, it looks like. Uh,
Oh,
but, and this one Brent might appreciate, the tri-spoke wheel is maybe not going to be quite so terrible. A couple of the pairs of Shimano wheels, like there's various changes in the wheels. And apparently the update is going to have a change in prices for things in the garage. So um, most of those look like they're going to be price increases. So if there's anything that you've been like, oh man, I'll wait until I've got a few more drops. Maybe it's time to do those because the prices are maybe going up. Um, hopefully, this is the first step to the uh, getting a good base for then having the upgrade paths that they teased. I don't know what feels like a year ago at this point, probably like 6 months ago. But yeah, so it seems like we may not just have the the single suggestion that we always have, which is just, well, the Dogma is the best bike and just choose which wheels are the best based on that. Although it still looks like that's going to be the best all-arounder bike frame, right there with what was the other? The Aerode. So the Aerode and the Dogma are still neck and neck, depending on whether you're climbing or flat. Um, but there's, yeah, a bunch of different bikes that are going to be at kind of similar levels. And I think the comparisons with the Tron are coming in the next few days. So, yeah.
If I remember a previous post, the overall theory of this wasn't that they would just reshuffle it, that they're going to make the differences more dramatic. The faster bikes were going to be not that much faster, but the slower bikes were going to be much slower than they currently are, if I remember the characterization of it that Eric had
I,
previously written about.
I think you've missed the real news here, Sean. I mean, the tri-spoke getting faster is good, but the new fastest disc is the rainbow disc.
What?
Oh, I did miss that.
That's what that chart means, right? The time savings over an hour, the fastest one now is rainbow disc is ahead of that the ARC 1100 die cut. I think I'm interpreting that right. So
Yes. Is
that
that the
means
858 Super 9?
yeah.
Yeah. Yep, you're
So that
right.
means now when I show up at races and I have my rainbow disc on, everybody's like, "Oh, he's willing to give up a little time for fashion." Everybody's gonna have the rainbow disc on now. I'll have to show up with the tri-spoke so I can really show off.
Which is, I mean, to be fair, the Tri-Spoke is still relatively far down the list overall, but it's not as terrible as it once was.
Yeah, you're giving up 20 seconds over an hour to the rainbow discs. So
Although, and the other so there's the Tri-Spoke, but there's also the Groovy TT wheels, which are part of the Big Spin, which are a few
Oh,
seconds faster than the Tri-Spoke.
yeah, those are the pink ones, which look pretty baller actually.
They do.
even better than the Zip 454s, which were sort of they were an old low level, fairly aero set. I remember when I first started Zwifting.
Yeah, they're really good all around set. They're just not quite as arrow, that's all.
Yeah.
If you sort through this chart by climb, then all of a sudden it goes way up the charts. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I'm actually surprised that these. I guess this doesn't show you the changes really between how much faster things got.
No.
I really would like to see that chart. I think of what really got faster and how much, because I've always had the impression that stuff is a little too fast in Zwift. Not that those bikes aren't fast, but when you put a person on them, they
Yeah.
don't perform as like that. So I'm curious when they went in the wind tunnel and they put a person on it. I suspect that changes a lot of that performance stuff. And especially, I'm sure if you went and put any less schlubs on there in a normal position, it would really wreck the aero performance.
Well, that's what I wonder. Has anyone seen the actual like percentage or like relative difference with a person on them? Like a tall person versus a short person. And then go from a canyon arrow to a climby bike or even a gravel bike. Like how much of a difference is that? Well, I guess they have like a standard person that they do all these tests on, right?
Yeah, so they run these with a 75 kilogram, 183 centimeter rider riding at 4 watts a kilo.
That's what
Uh,
all these tests are. I think if you
Right.
yeah,
go through the annals of Zwift Insider, he has done tests at
Okay.
different heights and weights to give you
yes.
an appreciation of what they are. And I'm sorry, I can't remember off the top of my
Okay.
head, but
I
because
do know that there is a huge, I'll just say what feels like a huge effect based on height,
Yes.
having, um, put out much larger relative or, relative power and lost to someone doing 150 watts in a time trial. Um, yeah, there's a big effect of uh, of height.
Yep. Taller is slower, I think, in pretty much all circumstances, and heavier is slower in all circumstances, but really punishing when you go up. I mean, I think the physics is generally relative to everything, but you know.
It's not that far off, but I do think that in particular for time trialing, like the hit based on height is really
Mm.
dramatic.
Yep, I agree with that. All right, so I mean, that's again, this is all setting up the upgrade thing coming in soon. Well, that's what Eric says anyway. That's why they're doing is they didn't want stuff to get too messed around when the upgrades came in. If you were upgrading like your Buffalo bike, that you would upgrade it faster than like
Yeah,
a Special Venge or whatever. So
that would be hilarious though.
would
Yeah,
be.
it's a new BMX bike on here. I haven't seen it on. It's got to be down low.
I don't think they put that in the wind tunnel.
Yeah.
The Zwift Insider does have a performance thing on it. I don't think it's in this list though. I don't see it.
I mean, the Specialized LA is all the way at the third from the bottom. That's
Well, keep in mind, it's the time there is saved from like a basic Zwift carbon bike. So I'm sure a basic Zwift carbon bike isn't even like brutal. Like it's still a road bike.
yeah.
So like even the bikes, they don't even have like the Buffalo bike or safety bike or whatever in that whole list. So they don't even test
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, the special bikes that don't.
Well, they tested the wheels for whatever reason.
Yeah,
The safety, the classic, and the Buffalo wheels, but they just didn't
Mhm.
test the
I'm sure that,
bike.
there's more to come on all of this.
Yeah. So anyway, it's kind of interesting to see these are somewhat more validated in the wind tunnel. Um, like I said, I can't believe that those are much faster than they already happen in Zwift. I think it already happens a little too fast. So I think some of that is also because Zwift is essentially like wind free. That's the other part of
Yeah.
it.
Well, and you come flying down the Epic and you take your corners at 80
That's the
kilometers
other
an hour,
part.
hairpins. Not happening real life.
That is also
I
true.
think the other piece of this that they didn't say anything about the BMX bike, but like the Atomic Cruiser last year, it is slow, uh, but it is so cool that maybe it's worth it.
It's cool. It's cool in lots of circumstances. I don't know if I was actually trying to win a race, I'd take it, but I could see myself taking a lot of turns around the big spin just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That brings us to around the horn, and now I've lost track of which one we were going to do that we talked about earlier.
It's Pi Day. I'll just put in the plug for Pi Day as we're recording. Happy Pi Day to all the mathematicians out there.
Were you going to do Pi Day or were you going to do
No, we
something
could do
else?
something else. I don't know if there's a good tie-in for Zwift with
I
Pi.
just had it.
Other than lots of math.
I think it was just going to be what were the other big spin.
Big spin
Oh,
things.
that's what it was. Yeah. What of the big spin things is your favorite? That was what we're going to do. So, um, who wants to go first? I guess are we all like doing a bit of big spin? Are we trying to get a few things?
I'm
I've
trying, but I
done
haven't even
one.
been able to get into one yet.
I've done one, but yeah,
Yeah, I've
I'll
done
let
one
you
and
on
I've unlocked the headphones and it was on the London one. So I
stage.
guess, do you get the 70s kit and hat for doing that? I think I got the 70s kit for sure.
The kit is different. I did one in the 70s, 80s, and the kit's all different. So that will be, I gotta say the 70s kit did not ring any bell to me of being familiar from the 70s, but
Yeah, so you know,
Maybe
you
yeah,
get
it's
a
the tweed
new
look. Yeah,
you
that's
get a different kit depending on which of the so stage one is a 70s kit, and then there's an 80s and 90s and a new millennium kit depending on which stage. Um,
yeah.
so you've got the 70s kit. I'm quite of those kits, I kind of like the 80s kit. Kind of
Yeah,
Just
the
the weird
80s,
geometric shapes.
yeah,
yeah, it looked very 80s. Yeah,
geometric shapes, purple
those neon
bibs, and a another
neon
sweet
colors.
visor.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, don't want that. But anyway. And then yeah, the unlocks are just I guess it's just the four things, right? The wheels, headphones, and the bike.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
So and these are showing the groovy wheels as teal, but I'm pretty sure you can get them in pink.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's just the slider to move it around or
yeah, I'm not sure.
whatever. I like those. I mean, listen, the bike is the best one, so we're only here to debate like what's our next best one. And I
I mean, the
think
skater helmet looks very skater. It's not my vibe. So yeah, I like the pink headphones. If I had those in real life, I'd wear them even, I think. Maybe even
what
with a visor.
you can only wear one headpiece at a time,
All
unfortunately. It
right,
counts
that's
as
the
your
problem.
headpiece.
Yeah, it's your headpiece. I
Oh,
need a new category for headphones.
sending James an email imminently to let him know that they need to upgrade their personalization to
Yeah.
allow more than one piece of head kit. I don't know if you guys ever noticed this, but like when you do the whole like um you have sunglasses, but you put the TT helmet on, it just goes right over top of the sunnies. I don't even take them off
Oh,
anymore. They're
I
just goes
didn't
right over
notice that.
top. You can't even see
Okay.
them. Yeah,
You get
it's
the
pretty
little
funny.
you can get the ones with the little mirror on the sun on the glasses too. So that'd be good
Well, I
to
haven't tried that with
interact
that.
with.
That would be
Yeah.
funny to put on
Would it
with the
stick
TT
out?
helmet. I gotta try that. Oh, that's a good. Next time I do a TT, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get 2000 sunglasses if you get 2000s along with a 2000s kit, which is kind of boring. The
Yeah.
sunnies are fine, I guess. I don't know. I don't. I don't know what the 90s headphones.
Oh, it's
Like,
just like a pair.
are they
It's
earbuds?
yeah.
Oh, it's no, it's the kind that like
It's
they
the
go
like
around the back
yep.
Oh,
instead over the top,
yeah. I don't care for those. The 90s kit is okay,
which
but
that looks
It
more like
look
the 70s sort of Walkman headphones than anything. But yeah.
the 90s kit looks like an old paper cup.
Yes. Totally looks like an old,
it totally does.
what's the name of the cup company? I can see it in my head.
Like
Yeah.
Dixie, like a Dixie
Yep.
cup,
Yeah.
but any size. Totally though. It's definitely from like small town arena concession. That is what you got your pop in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I so obviously, you know, the kits and stuff are fine. Even if I got them, I think the only one that I'd wear is maybe that 80s kit. Uh, I definitely, I think the TT wheels are awesome because you get them in pink. I think of the things that like might actually be make their way into the regular rotation, it might be the skater helmet. Uh, it is the only thing that I think one of the things that is nice about headwear is that in TTTs and stuff, it having something where you can pick yourself out in the crowd or have other people be able to follow you is nice. And I think that might be one that not everyone ends up having that is easy to find. So
Agreed. Steph, no preferences.
At the moment, not really, but I haven't really looked at it and done like one of the big spins late joined it. But yeah, of course, a BMX bike, but yeah, although yeah, the skater helmet and the groovy TT, the wheels, they look kind of groovy indeed.
Good choice. Good choice.
And the problem with kids, it's nice to unlock a kid, but I think I'll only wear 95 to 99% of the time one of the two herd kits anyway. So yeah, because in the past I unlocked like a couple when I first started with I got like the codes to get some kits, but then I didn't use them, and with the old system the when you change kits, your kit was placed somewhere down your infinite number of kits, and then you had to re-find it again. Luckily now with the sorting system, it's much more easier that it remembers the last few things you use in terms of kits. Like so, yeah.
For sure. Yeah, the new sorting system is much better. Although I do try to mix it up. I do try to go through and get a new kid in once in a while, man. You gotta make that little guy in front of you like look a little different once in a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe now with if I'm racing Zwift games, maybe I'll throw on my Three Wolf Moon kit every once in a while.
I just got the level 90 kit, which is
Is
actually
it any
pretty
good?
nice.
It's not.
It's level 90 kit's not bad actually. It's not too bad. It's a little fun. Some of them are a little drab, but the level 90 one's okay.
It's another race idea after we're done with No Spring Chickens, and everybody can vote for the worst, best dressed. You can get extra points or negative points for your outfit. I don't know how we'd count it. It's a fun idea.
I don't know how. Yeah, we'd have to see how many people actually log in afterwards and do a vote on
Do a
the.
doodle poll or something. Yeah.
Yeah, Google form or something
Yeah.
for sure. All right. I think on that note, we will say thank you to Steph Chen. Thank you to John Keenan. Thank you to Sean Bogenberg. Thank you to everybody listening at home, catching up on their herd races. Thank you everybody doing herd races or who are racing on herd teams and other race series this weekend. Good luck in all your races, everybody. Have fun. Moo and good night.